Greetings, Taurus. This is Damien with HK Readings Healing Culture Tarot. And I'm here to do your mid-month reading, which the energies will also continue throughout the rest / the entirety of the month of March. So consider this your mid-month / end-month reading. This is for Taurus placements by Sun, Moon, Rising, which is your ascendant, Venus, and or Jupiter. And this can be your Western tropical chart or your Eastern Vedic sidereal chart, whichever one you follow. I follow both. I see where both are relative in my life as far as like the macro to the micro, but to each their own. I hope everyone is doing well and in great health. We're going to stick with the kick, which is Tarot of the Orisha, created by Zorak, illustrated by Durkhan. This is a deck that I used for Virgo's reading and Gemini's reading, and I'm going to use it for yours too, except I don't feel the need to use any oracle with the Taurus reading here, so I won't. In my tropical placements, I am a Taurus Sun. In my Vedic placements, I am a Taurus Sun, Taurus Moon. This isn't even set up for your reading here. This is just on my altar as a bull, and it just so happens that I'm reading for Taurus. So, needless to say, like, I love how this works out. But let's go ahead and get into some shuffling. Messages for the sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and or Jupiter. Messages for the sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and or Jupiter. So, alrighty. And yeah, I knew this was coming. We had enslaved prisoner, and I can tell this is past energy, the outcast energies that's been navigating through. We got Iku, which is the card of death. The card of death is what I knew was coming, because I was just like, I know this download, it just immediately hit to the 8 of Earth. I got your reading, guys. And I in part also knew it because, you know, your boy, your girl dealing with it themselves. Okay, so man, I've never been quite the reader to just talk about like the past too much, because we already know what happened to, or what's happened to, you know, whoever's being read for. But I mean, come on now, like we got to talk about this when the enslaved prisoner talks about a level of entrapment that extends very deep. It does deal with a shitty hand and some unfortunate circumstances and some lessons along the way. But in part, it also is talking about self-imposition. A lot of it is also self-imposed based on our values of the time, our levels of self-esteem, our levels of self-belief, self-doubt, worry, anxiety, unhealed wounds like triggers and stuff. So it goes through the whole spectrum, and I feel like this is the cycle that you have been working through and that are just now starting to come out of. Now, this just now period could be anywhere from like 6 months to a year. I see 3 months for some of you. I see like right as you receive this reading up to last week for many of you. It's a very recent thing. It's less than a year, but you all are going to have different ranges, as you know. You Taurians are not leading the same lives. Exactly, right? But man, with this Outcast card here, it's showing me how much you've learned through the process of dealing through grief and pain and loneliness and sorrow. Like, yeah, you've had a lot of people turn on you. You've had a lot of people show that they weren't necessarily there for you. There were a lot of true colors that, you know, you got to see. And it's because you were stripped down and exposed. So as we, you know, everything's a mirror, as the universe had, you know, was sending you on a journey to teach you certain lessons, you know, you had to be completely stripped. I don't know if this is the first, second, third time you might have like been stripped to seemingly nothing or have lost everything in your life, it seems, but like this is one of those times. And what ended up happening was, you know, as vulnerable as you were, you got to see who was going to take advantage of that and nourish that. Not many did. And now, might there have been some victim mentality about it along the way? Possibly, but I don't really see you staying in that for long. It's that persevering Taurian energy that's like, all right, well, I can't stay here for long. You might not know which way is up or where you're going, but you know, moving somewhere is moving away from where you are currently unhappy. And so that's what you've been doing, right? And there's this beautiful poetic, like poetry in motion type of expression that you start to imbue. People might, you know, and you know, they might have and might still do think that you're very crazy in certain regards because of how you've come to view pain and beauty and suffering and sadness and melancholia and depression. Like, you've really gotten to know yourself through these times that have broken many, or that have made many just very cynical and nihilistic. And you've turned it into a thing of beauty. And that's confusing a lot of people. It's throwing off a lot of people. They don't really know how you're able to do that or where it's coming from, where the energies are cultivating from, stemming from, but they're very strong and they're very present. So there's that. It's crazy though, because if at any given moment though, it still seems like you might be that close to the edge of a fucking cliff. Like, okay. Now, one can't really ask me what the fuck that was about with that candle. I started to see smoke behind the car, but I knew it wasn't close up enough, so I checked and I looked, and yeah, it was just, bitch was about to be set ablaze. So I had to put that out real quick. This was at the point that I was talking about how easy it seems that many of you can still snap or break at any given moment, you know? Like, there's that point where, you know, like, it seems like somebody's doing well, but you know that saying that you're always just like one little thing away from like that breaking point or whatever. That's still that energy about you, you know, there's still that energy about you. And I think that's something that could be worked out just, you know, as you've navigated your feelings and stuff, and as you've been working towards healing, You know, it's easy to say, like, all right, I've gotten 75% of the way, 82% of the way, 91% of the way. When we're talking about grades in school and shit like that, that deems, you know, passing. That we consider that passing. You know, so like think about how many times in school you only studied as much as you needed to do so, like to pass. It's one of those things to where like you don't want to do that with this situation. You want to see this through and see this out. You want to fully complete this death cycle, this Iku energy, so that all of the work that's put in with this Taurus energy here, it's Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, but Taurus at the head here. You know, all of this good work, the good work that you're putting in, you don't want it to be something that could be so easily taken from you because of a trigger or because of, you know, this briefly felt like, or this irrational emotion, you know, this irrational emotion that quickly rushes in, or like this isn't something that you just want to shortcut or shortchange, because there are big things just on the precipice or beyond the threshold, however you perceive it, however you want to look at it. Like you're on the precipice of it, you already have it, it's beyond this veil, however you want to look at it. It's here. But you've got to complete this death cycle 100% Taurus. Because it'll be the thing that stands in the way of you having longevity in career, in finances, in love, like, you know, accruing wealth, building a strong relationship, your creative endeavors, because all of this is tied in. For a Taurus, like, when it comes to our pentacle, it's not just about our money. It's not just about our home. It's about our security in every single way. Every single form of life that we exist in, we want it to be strong and comfortable and secure. And to our standard of luxurious, you know? And we've had it before. Remember how I was like, I don't know how many times you've gone through losing your, you know, things, hitting that rock bottom. To go through that so many times, that means you had to have had it that many times, okay? You cannot lose what you never had. So, if instead of focusing on how many times you've lost something, maybe that's the bridge to complete this death energy. Focus on all you've accomplished, all you've achieved. Look at how many times you were able to pick yourself back up. Look at how many times look at all the things you've accomplished. Look at all the times you were able to show yourself and show the world really what you're made of. Whether it was for revenge or not, who gives a fuck? There's no judgment here. But yeah, you know, this time, the universe is saying you are being set up to not lose it, but you could be the reason that you do. Like, you're being set up to not lose it, but you still have a part in this because it's yours. It is yours to maintain. It is yours to upkeep. It is yours to love on. It is yours to nourish and focus on. Whereas everything else has already shown you it doesn't deserve your focus. Look at how it's treated you, where it's left you, how it's abandoned you. Focus on your good work. Focus on where you know love lies. Because you've seen a lot of beautiful things through this process. Like I said, this outcast is someone who is literally dancing through the pain. Listen to a song called, I'm gonna write it down too. It's one of my favorite songs of the moment, but it's Dance On Through by the Human Beings. It's B-E-I-N-Z. It's a great song, and it's very applicable to this reading, and it's a very happy song, but a little tear-jerking, perhaps. It is for me. Give me 1 second. I was just getting your title. But yeah, that's basically what I've got for you, Taurus. This was an interesting reading. We're gonna pull a couple more cards and see what we got. Five of Fire, Four of Fire, the Water Element, Shango in reverse. Bottom of the deck, Ten of Air. There's a sense of teamwork, and it might be with an Aries. This is, you know, a message of summation here. These are the final words. But and you know, whether it's an Aries or not, there's an operation held out of Aries energy. Could be you, but there's a level of teamwork that's going on for like a collective cause here that I think is going to bring a lot of clarity to a situation where there's a lot of stagnation. And this is interesting. This is something that I feel I've seen in one of my favorite readers is readings, when I watch for my readings, and two of the signs that I have placements for. I want to see what this is about a little bit more. Thinking we should call on a different deck. Yeah, we'll do Tarot of the Moors. Hadn't used these babies in a while. Okay. Five of Cups, Four of Cups, Princess of Swords. Okay. There's going to be an occurrence within the next 3 days, Taurus. 3 days. For some of you, there's a exact timeline of 3 to 7 days, so 3 days to a week. For others of you, it'll be between 17 days and 3 months. Those who fall under that, the energy will start then, and it will progressively pick up. And on that 3rd month, there will be like a sort of marriage, if you will, like a proposal to engage in a full-on relationship or to move in or something like that. So this is relationship oriented, and it's telling me if there's going to be an occurrence that happens for you, like I said, for some of you in 3 to 7, for others of you in like a little over 2 weeks, that brings you together with someone, and like the relationship just takes off. Now, I don't feel like this is a new person. This is someone that you've known before, and like it just couldn't get traction for some reason. It was always just a miss, like the wrong time, or somebody was with somebody, or maybe you weren't interested. You were too focused on other things. Some of you had to focus on family, emergencies and stuff like that. I'm picking up at a time where like this love was trying to usher in, just always the wrong time, it seemed. Right person, wrong time. But it's aligning now. For many of you, it's aligning. You might not realize it. Well, I'm sure obviously at this point of the reading you do. But everything that was about this death moment up here, it really it's more related to like finding the love of your life than you realize. And then we have the 10 of air here. Remember that was at the bottom of the deck. Like there's a lot of endings that need to happen now. And you're all about it. You're all here for it. But you got to complete. You're like, oh my God, 97 is the number that I'm getting. You're like 97% complete with this, most of you at least, with this death-oriented occurrence. Like whatever's needing to be removed from your life is 97% out. You're 97% there. And you've got this magical 3%. Which is intriguing. Because, we have the 8 of Earth here. If you take 2 3s as we draw them, like the number 3, you have 8. And then you shift it on a horizontal axis to make infinity. So I'm seeing your strong 3 symbolism here. I'm seeing we have the 5 of fire, the 4 of fire. Next after that would be the 3 of fire. We have the 5 of cups, the 4 of cups. Next would be the 3 of cups. So like the 3 of wands, if you will, and the 3 of cups. That's finally celebrating a relationship that's been like waiting to take off for a very long time. It's almost like it took you getting your shit straight, and it's like this person was waiting on you? Almost, yeah. Because I'm also looking at Shango in reverse. For me as a reader, it's Sagittarian energy, Temperance energy. This person's been waiting on you. Now, if you've had like a lot of people talking about stalkery energies and people following you and stuff like that, and just all up on your social media and shit like that, within multiplicities, I'm sure there were people out there that might have been doing that, but there's somebody who's been all up in your shit, but they're not an ex, they're not like creepy, it's not anything malicious. Like they're tracking your progress because like they're being drawn to you. The universe is bringing them back around to you, and like they're in love with what they're seeing. They're enjoying watching it happen naturally, and they're just kind of plotting their move. But they know their move can happen until, you clear a little bit more out of your system. That's pretty deep, Taurus. Wow, well, like the video if you have any resonance, and leave a comment to resonance as well. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already at HK Readings, and I look forward to seeing you for the next reading, Taurus.